All right, let's jump right in. In this explainer, we're going to dive into the core wisdom of the art of happiness, which is basically a series of amazing conversations between the Dalai Lama and psychiatrist Howard Cutler. It's a really practical guide to one of life's biggest questions: how can we actually be happy?
And it all starts with this really simple but powerful idea. Just for a minute, forget all the complex philosophies you've ever heard. At our absolute core, it doesn't matter if we're religious or not, or where we're from, we are all, every one of us, moving towards the exact same goal. We just want to be happy.
And that simple premise, the idea that the main driving force of our lives is this search for happiness, well, that's the launching point for a pretty radical shift in how we see everything. The book argues this isn't just a nice thought, it's our central purpose.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but isn't seeking my own happiness a little selfish? Well, not at all, actually. In fact, modern science is now backing up what the Dalai Lama has been saying for ages. It turns out unhappy people tend to be more self-focused, more withdrawn. Happy people, on the other hand, they are consistently found to be more kind, more compassionate, and way more giving to others. So really, your happiness benefits everyone around you.
So, if we're all looking for happiness, why does it feel so hard to find sometimes? Well, the book's core revelation, its biggest aha moment, is that most of us are looking in completely the wrong places. We're searching outside when the real source has been inside us all along. You know the drill, right? We chase all these external things: a better job, more money, that perfect relationship, thinking they're the keys to the kingdom. And sure, those things can bring a little burst of pleasure, but our long-term baseline level of happiness, that's determined way more by our internal state of mind. It's all about our outlook, not our circumstances. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? I mean, think about it. When you're in a moment of pure rage or deep frustration, that expensive car you love or your beautiful home, they bring you zero joy. A negative internal state has the power to completely overwrite any pleasure we get from external things. That right there proves that our state of mind is the ultimate decider of our happiness. So the most important point is this: our perspective literally creates our reality. In fact, some behavioral scientists estimate that once our basic needs like food and shelter are met, something like 90% of our long-term happiness depends not on the external world, but on how our brain processes that world. The key isn't to change what's happening around us, but to change the mind that's experiencing it all. Okay, so if happiness is an inside job, how do we actually get to work? What's the how-to? Well, the book's answer is through a very deliberate, systematic process: training the mind. Now, when the Dalai Lama talks about training the mind, it's super important to know he's not just talking about brain teasers or intellectual exercises. He's using the Tibetan word sem, which is so much broader. Think of it like our entire inner world. Our intellect, sure, but also our feelings, our heart, our spirit, the whole shebang. It's about a total inner transformation. The method itself is actually pretty logical. Step 1, you learn to recognize the thoughts and emotions that cause you pain. Things like anger, jealousy, greed. Step 2, you analyze them to truly understand just how destructive they are to your own peace. And then, step 3, you consciously and gradually work to weed them out while planting the seeds of their opposites, the good stuff, like compassion and patience that lead to real happiness. And listen, this isn't some quick fix or one-and-done deal. It's a daily discipline, kind of like physical exercise before your mind. The Dalai Lama suggests starting every single day with a positive intention, and then ending each day by reviewing your actions. And this is key. Not with harsh judgment, but with a clear desire to just do a little better tomorrow. It's that consistent effort that builds real, lasting change. Of course, there's a huge elephant in the room when we talk about happiness, right? Suffering. It's an unavoidable part of being human. So what do we do about it? Well, the book offers a way to completely reframe our entire relationship with pain. And this really is the central question, isn't it? If pain and loss and hardship are basically guaranteed, does that make the whole search for happiness pointless? The answer, which might surprise you, is a definite no. So the book tells this ancient story about a mother, Kisagatami, whose only child has died. She's completely consumed by grief, and she goes to the Buddha looking for a magical cure. He agrees to help, but on one condition: she has to bring him a single mustard seed from a house that has never been touched by death. So she goes door to door to every house in the village, but every single family has known loss. And in that search, she has this profound realization. Suffering isn't her private burden. It's a universal human experience.
Kissa Gotami's realization is the absolute key. See, our attitude is what determines whether suffering destroys us or helps us grow. Unproductive suffering keeps us trapped in that lonely, why me mindset. But by accepting suffering as a shared reality, something we all go through, we can transform it into something productive, a source of empathy, of connection, and of deep compassion for others who are also struggling. So here's the bottom line. We often create a second layer of pain just by resisting the first. The initial suffering might be inevitable, but the agony we feel by fighting against reality, that part is optional. By learning to accept suffering as a natural part of life, we build a kind of mental resilience that makes us so much more stable when challenges pop up. And this whole idea of transforming our suffering leads us directly to what the Dalai Lama considers the ultimate source of happiness, the most powerful tool we have in our mental arsenal, genuine compassion. Now, this is a really fascinating distinction. Most of what we call love or compassion is actually attachment. It's biased, it's just for our friends and family, and it can turn sour really fast if that person disappoints us. But genuine compassion, that's unbiased, it's stable. It's based on the simple, profound recognition that every single being, no exceptions, wants happiness and wants to avoid suffering, just like we do.
The foundation for this kind of compassion is recognizing how deeply interconnected we all are. Howard Cutler, the co-author, shares this amazing moment where he was just fiddling with a thread on his shirt, and suddenly it hit him. He started thinking about the thousands of people involved in making that one shirt, from the farmer who grew the cotton to the person who drove the truck. And he realized his whole idea of being a self-reliant individual was a complete illusion. We all depend on each other for every. And here's the payoff. Cultivating this compassionate outlook isn't just some nice spiritual exercise, it's a massive psychological advantage. It actively reduces fear, anxiety, and loneliness. It creates a source of inner worth that doesn't depend on what other people think of you. It makes us more open, more connected, and at the end of the day, just way, way happier. So when you boil it all down, the message of The Art of Happiness is one of incredible hope. Happiness isn't some destination you arrive at or something you just get lucky and find. It is a skill, a discipline, something that can be learned and cultivated through deliberate, daily practice. So the real question this leaves us with is, if happiness is a skill, what part of it are you going to practice today?